going to study a bit of Michael Mentler today. This is his Book of Bones. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. His It's just kind of basically a big book of his sketches and like kind of slight tips of what he writes down in the sketchbook and like maybe make them easier to read somewhere because his handwriting is really interesting but very difficult to read. Lovely book, really nice, very big actually and quite high quality in terms of like actually being able to see everything he's able to do. And it's a lovely book to study from. The way he works is, I think, is very interesting. It's it's very constructive, but it's also has a lot of imagination put into it. He does a lot of these, I'm pretty sure, without reference. He just, if I recall, he has like this whole method where he draws like as soon as he wakes up in the morning, he starts doing some drawings of what he can think about in his head, which I think is quite cool. And maybe I should adapt that to myself. But anyway, yeah, lovely book. Loads of construction, really interesting way you can see exactly how he thinks and the decisions he makes and the way he sculpts his figures. So let's just get on with it. I'm just going to use some fine liners today. This is just a grey fine liner, Staedtler, I think it is, and I have uni pins and other stuff kind of near me to grab when I need to. Actually, I might work in red to start off with and then go on to black on top of it. So let's just pick a sketch. I'll work with this one here. There's a lot of motion in it. Let's just start going ahead, see if we can feel it out. I'm just kind of working this like I do any old figure drawing. I'll just start feeling out the movement and the way he's constructed things. A lot of times I feel like actually if you're struggling with anatomy, drawings like these can help a lot, because the artists actually kind of draw them in and kind of push them to another level a little bit. While like if you're drawing from a figure, depending on the person's body and what they're doing, and like especially from life drawing class, they won't be doing the craziest poses in the world. You won't see every single bit, but artists who work like this kind of draw through the form to see the anatomy and how it all sits together. It's really good to learn off of. Just like also, like you might not even know every name of everything you see, but to understand how they sit on top of each other, really feel is it's important. More important than the names. The names I find they are good to learn. Like understanding the Latin names and why they're named that certain way is important. It kind of just helps you kind of memorize them a bit more. But obviously, as artists, drawing them is top priority. Now I think I did this drawing a bit too short, so let's go back in with. I'm going with a 0.5, so we can play around with maybe if we take some more time to actually diagnose this drawing. Do with some cleaner lines. And like I don't have to draw it exactly the way he's like, when you're studying any artist, you don't have to draw exactly the way they're drawing. But it's more to understand their decisions, so you can bring it into your own, you know. And you do it in any medium of your choice. I just decided pen today because I thought it would work for his lines. Also, I'm not really good at pen work, so it's good to generally try to push yourself with that stuff. I'm much more comfortable with pastel and charcoal, kind of those dry mediums, scratchy mediums, I like to call them, because they just feel a bit nice in the hand. While pen stuff is a bit, it doesn't sit as well with me, I suppose, which isn't the worst thing. It's good to know what you like, but you should absolutely still push yourself to do stuff that you don't necessarily love or instantly amazing at, you know. You can always take something from it. Like I think pen's really good for kind of practicing like your cross hatching and start thinking about the way the form moves a lot more than anything else. Well, with charcoal and like paint and stuff, you can get away with not doing it, but doing it pushes yourself a lot more. Pushes your drawings to the next level a bit. Alright, am I done with this one? think I'm done. These actually drawings are really good also too. If you're just doing kind of like, if you just left all the red and then maybe don't look at the reference and come back and just draw on top of what you've drawn to try find it, you know, it's good to do. Okay, we'll do the next one. Should I stick on the same page, or maybe we'll try find something new to give you guys a little bit more insight into this book. I'm not going to show you every page because you should still support the artist, though it's quite expensive. Maybe too expensive, I think. For I don't know, if you're an artist, I get paying artists for the work, but if you're an artist, you should be up. I'm drawing this one, by the way. You should be up for sharing the knowledge as much as possible, and not everyone can pay for these sort of things. I had to save up myself to get it. It was a bit of a treat. I think as an artist, like you want people to learn as much as you can. If you have knowledge to share, try and make it as available as you can. Really, do it to a certain degree. I understand people not putting stuff out for free. And if you can't afford a book like this, just look up on his Instagram, or just look up Michael Mentler on Google. You'll get a lot of his drawings. I think he has his website and stuff. He has a lot of his drawings up if you want to study them. Because like I said, the book's a bit pricey. Great book. Still not taken away from it. Don't worry. I like the way he draws stomachs. Actually, it's beautiful. Like they give a lot of direction. We don't see that a lot of the times in people's drawings. He's really putting a bit of flow into every mark he's put down, you know. Designed everything. You can feel a lot of weight off his drawings. You know, where everything's going a bit. I'm being quite loose with the red stuff and not super caring where I'm going, so I'll come back with the black and clean it up. For now, I just want to give myself a little framework to work off of. It can be messy. It doesn't matter too much. Really love the way, just again, like I think I said it earlier, but just how constructive everything is. It's very constructive, but gestural. Has a lot of flow to it. Everything has movement to it. You know. Oh, that's my computer going off there. Don't know if that picks up. Let's clean this drawing up a bit. See what we can play around with. Get that rib cage in there. You really get a sense of everything also wrapping around each other with his drawings. A lot of it's exaggerated, like some of the hip bones popping out and all that. But again, I think a lot of this is done from his imagination. I think it's very impressive. I love the work. His paintings are actually very interesting. Similar thing, but more like blocking of color. I think it's the way he represents. It's more like he's drawing with the paint, I suppose, which I think is beautiful. He puts in all these lines through his drawing to show the form of everything wrapping around each other. It's nice. Something to take away from in your own stuff. I think actually a lot of these could be taken into, you know, the painting medium of oil or whatever, and any of these I'd be happy to paint. I think, see what you can do with them. You get a lot of sense of he understands what forms also overlap each other. You know, what sits on top of each other, what one comes forward, but still kind of showing in his sketches that other one is turning away from us. You know, he doesn't forget about it just because we can't see it, but he's getting the essence of what it does. How it influences the other, you know. A lot of life in these. I don't think I want to do too much more with this. Let's try to find maybe a head drawing to do. Or I'm going a bit out of frame with this drawing, but you guys can see it. You kind of really love stuff. His legs are actually beautiful. He does a lot of standing poses. which is nice because standing poses can be quite tough. But the way he develops the legs is amazing. This is actually a great pose. Let's see if we can do something with that before we move on to head stuff. Make sure I know where I am in the frame, so I come off about here, do I? Okay, I know where I am now. Let's just, actually we'll do this with just the black, see what we can do. Try to be a bit more careful with the lines maybe. Try treat it like I'm doing charcoal. Maybe try be as confident as I am with charcoal work or pastel. I think the thing that gets me with fine liner is, I'm used to, I suppose the way I work is not a lot of lines, so it's more like looking at the values. So when I put down a really heavy black line, it throws me off because it's such a contrast from the page. So maybe if I was working on toned paper and I tried line, I'd resonate with it a bit more. That knee's great, the way it wraps into that thigh and the thigh overlaps it. It's a great way it shows it. And everything, there's I don't know what it was from. Just something about like understanding that we, like, the body is made of water, or it's fluid, and every single part of his drawing has a bit of fluidity to it. You know, it's resting somewhere. It's undulating in another place, you know? Just good to think about. And these calves, unreal. Unreal calves. Really recommend giving these a go. And again, you have to remind yourself that, you know, you're not here to do a perfect copy. It can be like it's fine to do sometimes, you know, if you really want to, like, you know, study a Caravaggio or something like that, really absolutely get the copy done. But I think you can learn a lot without having to put yourself through that turmoil. Like, if you're going into it to learn a painting, maybe just focus on how the values of the relationships work, more than trying to do it exactly how they did it. Understand them a little bit more. That's all you're trying to do. Because you want to be you at the end of the day. You want to just take something from it and add it to how you represent the visual world. We're here to translate and represent what we see. We just don't use words. Musicians use sound, but we use light. And, well, light and darkness, I suppose. Because light doesn't really mean much without a bit of the dark times around. Again, this is a really kind of simple head up here, but you get the direction, and if you're looking up from it perfectly. They're very simple shapes. You know you're looking underneath that nose, underneath that brow. Draws a lot of buns. And actually, I've started doing that as well. In my sketches, even life drawing. There's something about bun on the hair that it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about where you're looking on a person. Just adds to the direction and perspective, I think. Alright, we'll do one more of this. Actually, also just to show you guys, there's a nice thing you can do. If, like, maybe you did it with black first, so you want to try it maybe a pen and then come back in and start maybe just putting in directions for yourself, feeling out around the form and where it's going. Just to reinforce yourself what's happening here. You can look at your reference, or you can just go and kind of go with the what you've drawn. Just come around. What turns where? Oh, now I'm just doing shading. But you get what I'm trying to say. Maybe make some marks for yourself later. It's just a study. Doesn't matter what this looks like when you look back at it later, look back at it another time. Just trying to improve your own head and your own eyes. Maybe do a marking out of like, hey, that's that plane, this is this plane. Reinforce in your head a bit. Anyway, sorry, we'll see if we can find a head to study. Yeah, I'm not feeling. We'll do that one. So we can. Oh, I do like that one. Sorry, there's a lot in this book that's good, so it's kind of hard to choose one. He actually draws a lot of skulls as well. Skulls from memory are great things to do. And I need to start throwing that into my own repertoire. We'll go with this guy up here. See if you guys can actually see that. There we go, bring that down. And I'll start off with the pen again. Actually, we'll do this little grid he's done. He draws these grids a lot. So a good thing to do to understand why is just to do it yourself. Maybe does he do it just to exaggerate, or just to keep his proportions intact and how everything feels together? Why does he break them to the 4, does he? Yeah. That's fine. I suppose, like, if you're trying to keep everything together and you want to maybe exaggerate, you could extend these grids and see how they feel together. But I think, like, he does the grid, but I still think he draws loose. You know, it's more of just maybe a mind thing. Oh, is it 5 up? Or did I just draw wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I did just draw it wrong. No, okay, now we're fine. Tripping myself out. Okay, very simple forms, but like, this is all just like really feels like a just continuous line to me. He didn't take his hand off the page for this, I think, so maybe I should have done that myself. See if we can continue that with, maybe we'll do it when we get to the black pen. See if we can do a nice continuous line. Again, a lot of these features are a bit exaggerated and a bit wavy, but they sit together, I think, so well. I'm a big fan of it. Okay, let's get into the black pen and we'll see what we can finish this up a bit. And this also this block of blue is beautiful, I think. Let's just continue and feel this out the way he did it. And you know, it's also, I think I did it on my video of, I said it on my video of Noah's eyes and lips, but the eye he's drawn here is, it's just like simple, you know, it's just simple marks. It's there's not a lot of detail. He's not drawing the eyelashes, but that's all you need. It's just a simple representation of the eye. You know that's an eye. So I see a lot of people painting or drawing, and they're going a bit too hard. I'm making, like, getting the iris and doing a bit crazy things with the eye and the nose and all that stuff, but you don't need a lot. Simple is better in painting. Just reads better. We're to simplify, not overcomplicate what we see. I think it's one of those things, like, you don't know, you don't know better than what your eyes can see. You don't know better than nature. So don't stress yourself out by trying to make something absolutely perfect. Just translate it. Just represent it. Keep it simple. And you'll be a bit happier, I think. ears, great actually. I'm pretty sure he has a page of ears in this. It's a good thing to do. Ears can also be a little thing, like we can either completely forget about them or drive ourselves insane drawing them, but they really benefit from keeping them as simple as possible. They're like very much soft edges and hard edges. That's what the ear's about. I think is the greatest example of it. I don't know what these are all for. It's interesting, like these little crosses between the boxes. Maybe just again another proportional tool to keep himself in check while he's drawing. Or is it like this whole form really keeps with that line all the way going across? Is that what it's for? And then this back of the head also goes with if there's a cross on the box. It all kind of conforms to each other, doesn't it? That's a bit of a mystery still for me though. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be back for another video.